Okay, so everyone likes to learn new facts about things that they enjoy, even if they are completely useless. However, if you play this game for a while and have watched a couple of fact videos from other creators, you probably know almost everything about it. That's why I decided to use my knowledge, gathered from playing this game for almost a decade, to tell you 49 completely new facts and easter eggs that you probably never heard before. To reach level 75 on a brand new account, you will need 6,438,770 experience points, and to reach a max level 90, over 1 million more points. In the frozen peak on the trophy road, you can see the Snow and P.E.K.K.A next to the Fierce Ward. Badges on the ranked mode represents weapons, spells and parts of armors of the troops. Grand and Royal Champions represents crowns of the princess and the king. However, this weird crystal doesn't seem to fit with any troop in Clash Royale. That's because it is the same crystal that you used to get in the old ranking system in Clash of Clans. Berserker and Rune Giant are the only cards that have the special animation where they interact with each other, which you can see right here. It's hard to notice in the game, but in one of his images you can clearly see that Royal Chef actually doesn't have a leg. All witches have colored mist instead of legs, but even though they float, none of them can cross the river, and in their animations you can notice that they actually are walking. And if you wonder, in Clash of Clans Witch and Night Witch are moving by floating above the ground. The player who has played the most games of Clash Royale is SBF Go to Hell, who played over 405,000 games and has over 180,000 3-crown wins. Even though the heal spell was deleted 6 years ago, you can still find it below Trader in the shop. And a little bit lower on the cosmetics section, there is a raid spell that was used to paint the background of that section. Void is the only card in the game that on its regular render has an evolved troop. One of the biggest mistakes in Clash Royale is the color of the Night Eyes. In all of his renders, animations and card picture he has brown eyes, but in the game he has a blue one. This mistake happens because the Knight was one of the first cards added to the game, and his model was based on the Barbarian from Clash of Clans, which looks similar to the Knight, but in the contrast he has blue eyes. The last troop to receive a star level skin was the Three Musketeers, but it was a rework, so I don't know if it counts. But if we ignore that, the last star level skin was added in November 2021 to the Mother Witch. All champions and only champions cost 5 elixir in merge tactics. The popular fan theory is that the Mega Knight is actually the builder from Clash of Clans. By now it was proven false multiple times, and is mostly treated as a meme, but when it first appeared it made a lot of sense. During the time when Mega Knight was released, in Clash of Clans there was an event where Builder left the village for an entire month. So many fans speculated that this new, kinda similar looking card might be the Builder. And I'm not gonna lie, if it was true it would be super cool. Through the whole 10 years, in the game there have been 16 time limited cards, from which half of them were super troops. Currently there are 22 cards that doesn't have a single emote. If you squint your eyes, you can see that Tornado is giving you a thumb up. And you may ask, how the hell anyone could mistake this flying pig for a random hand with a thumb? Well, when I was younger I thought exactly that, and one random day I had realized, it is not a hand, but a pig. For some reason, not every emoji shown next to the stats are in the same size. You can notice this if you quickly switch between regular and evil version of the card, but it only works on some of them, like Knight, Musketeer or Royal Ghost. If you look closely, the Colosseum is carried by 4 giant statues on each side. These statues also can be found on Ruined Mountain Arena and in the clan capital in Clash of Clans, but there they are way bigger, almost gigantic. The trainer on training camp always has the same banner as you. The reason why Royal Pigs can run straight, even though their eyes are covered, is because they use their noses to smell their way to the tower. The max number of gems you can have is 4,294,967,295, and if you had 4,294,967,296, the number will still display 4,294,967,295. But in the reality, you will have 4,294,967,296 or more. You simply will not be able to see the true value. You might think that the Spirit Impress is the only ruler in the Mage Tactics, who is a card inside of the regular game. But there is a second ruler that is playable as card, and it is the Battle Machine, who controls the Flying Machine. This is the sound you will hear after changing the volume in the settings.
Hooray! Hooray!
A quick reminder that on 19 May 2025 a Clash series was announced, and so far it's the only info I had got on this project. Two things we will hate the most about this game are new levels and overcomplicated cards ideas, and unfortunately these two are always released in the same time. On October 2021 champions were added, and with them level 14. Evolutions and level 15 were added in the June 2023. And now heroes and level 16 on December 2025. Skeleton Dragons uses the same card artwork in both the regular game and in the Mage Tactics. Magic Archer and Ice Wizard are the only two cards that speaks in different real-world languages. The reason why Ice Wizard speaks Finnish is because Supercell's headquarters are located in Helsinki, Finland. When Evils were first introduced, they not only give special abilities to regular cards, but they also increase their stats like HP and DPS. And for example, Firecracker could survive a little arrows, but fortunately it was later removed. Right now only 3 cards have slightly increased HP. Also, for some reason, Viva Snowball does 1 less damage to the Crown Tower. Goblin Machine, Bandit, Princess, Executioner, Dart Goblin, Valkyrie, P.E.K.K.A. and Barbarians use their render as their card picture in the Mage Tactics. The reason why cards in Clash Royale are so weaker than in Clash of Clans is because almost all of them are at level 1. However, you can upgrade some of the cards with star levels to look like the higher level counterparts from Clash of Clans. And here a quick demonstration of that. On Trophy Road, you can often see next star reward, a visual representation of that exact reward, or at least something related to it. It's a pretty well-known fact that after he is deployed, Lumberjack drinks his Battle of Rage. And that is exactly why he is so freaking fast. Cause, you know, Rage speed up troops. But it's also why Lumberjack is always so angry. Cause, you know, Rage makes people angry. So outside of the arena, he is probably a really nice guy. Although there are only 5 cards in the game that contains Barbarians, Barbarian appears in total of 16 different cards, from which mostly in spells. Archer Queen is the card that has the largest number of Khorne. And don't ask me how I know that. While research, I saw some gruesome and terrible things that you will never want to see. Until recently, there was a bug, where if you played Mage Tactics and immediately went into your board deck after a battle, the profile of cards looked like these used in Mage Tactics. Currently in Clash Royale there are 4 types of elixir. Regular elixir, which drops from troops and is used in both Clash games as currency. Dark elixir, used only in Clash of Clans as currency, and in Clash Royale is used to evolve troops. Golden elixir, which is the currency in Mage Tactics and is used to create heroes. And green elixir, which drops from troops turned into goblins by the Goblin Curse. In case you ever wonder, which cards has the longest names? Hero Mini P.E.K.K.A. and Hero Musketeer both have 13 letters in their names. For a regular card, Goblin Demolisher has 16, and the winner is Evolution Skeleton Barrel with 23 letters. Let's also uncover cards with the shortest names. For heroes, Hero Giant has only 9 letters, and for both Evo and regular card, Zap has the shortest name. Arena 4 and Arena 6 were swapped a few years ago, but still, 4 years after this change, names of these arenas were not updated in the TV Royale. You might think that these few last months were the longest period in the game's history where we don't get a new card. But that's nothing, in comparison to the longest gap between 2 cards releases. which lasted 216 days between the release of Mother Witch in December 2020 and Goblin Drill in July 2021. And keep in mind, right now we get an Evo and a hero every month. But back then, there was not a single new card released in almost an entire year. Although Monk's fighting style isn't based on any specific one and is completely made up, which is, as stated in his description, basics and some moves are heavily based on Shaolin Kung Fu. Elite Barbarians are regular barbarians with helmets, higher stats, and even the same sounds but slowed down. That's because they are literally the regular barbarians from Clash of Clans, but on higher level. Mega Knight is arguably the most hated card in the history of the game, but somehow, in the February's voting event, where the top 20 most voted cards got invited into the 10th anniversary event, he destroyed the concurration. He received 19% of the votes, and had more percentages than all of the 23 cards on the bottom combined. Back when Touchdown was first introduced, Elite Barbarians had their helmets changed into football helmets to match the game mode. The background obstacles, such as trees, bushes, mushrooms that appears outside of the older arenas, are the exact same obstacles that are inside of Clash of Clans. If I ask at you, what the Firecracker's rocket split into after she attacks, most of you would say rocket fragments or maybe gunpowder, but no. It divides itself into 5 smaller rockets. Skeleton Barrel is the only card that changes its appearance based on its HP. During overtime on arenas from 1 to 8, this weird red line appears on both sides. On arena 13 and above, the only change is the same line, but with confetti falling from the top of the screen. However, on arena 9, instead of confetti, it starts raining. On arena 11, Bridges gets activated. And on arena 12, river and ice on witches' statues in the background starts glowing. Many may know this, but it's possible to zoom in and out in Mage Tactics. And that was the last fun fact. If you enjoyed this video, you can leave like and subscription to help me reach more people who know everything about this game. Besides these 49 facts, obviously. Also, remember to drink at least 2 liters of water every day, and bye!